Big changes in schools, it's time to know what's shaping classrooms, where do we go? Policy shifting, rules on the move. Parents. Big changes in schools, it's time to know what's shaping classrooms, where do we go? Policy shifting, rules on the move. Parents.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Policy Pulse, the education edition, where we break down what's happening in K-12 education so you stay informed, you stay empowered, and most importantly, you stay ahead of the game. I'm Katina Taylor. I am your host. You'll learn a bit more about me if you're new to the broadcast in just a second, so hold tight. I will introduce myself more formally in a second. I want to start off by saying that I know that when we think about policy, politics, bureaucracy, right, we often think of overwhelm, anxiety, stress. It's a lot of noise. There's a lot of headlines, and sometimes it is very difficult. It's hard to actually distinguish, figure out, kind of sift through it all to decide what actually matters for you, your children, your school, school district, etc. But that's why I'm here with you each and every week for Policy Pulse. There's no spin, there's no fluff. It is just clear, fact-based information and insights on what's changing, how it impacts you, how it impacts your children, how it impacts your schools, your school districts, and our collective community. So whether you're a parent, an education professional, a policymaker, or a business owner who understands why education is important to you, stick with me, hang in there. We will break it all down together each and every week as I come to you on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. Join me on whatever platform suits you. Drop any comments that you might have, any questions that you may have, ask for clarification, give me pushback, whatever it may be. I want to hear from you. I want to engage with you. So thank those of you that tune in each and every week for Policy Pulse. It is extremely important that we talk policy if in fact we want education to improve and make sure that it serves all children. So again, my name is Katina Taylor. I want to welcome you to this edition of Policy Pulse. And I'm going to throw up my little title slide right there for you so you can see it. Before we get moving, though, before we get going, a couple of things I want to make sure. Hold on one second, y'all. You know, I tell you, I love technology, but sometimes it does not love me back. So hold on just a second. And I think I went through to the end of my slides. I want to make sure that they were everything was where it needed to be, and I did not go back to the beginning, but that's okay. Mistakes happen. Here we are, right? We start right there. So before we dive in actually into the content for tonight, I want to invite those of you that are in the Kansas City metropolitan area to come to the Gift KC Holiday Mart. It will feature small business owners from so many different sectors selling products that you can grab just before Christmas. So for me, I will be there with the Dreams KC decodable books. I encourage you all to come and grab some Don't wait to the last minute. You guys need to have these gifts in your hand. You may say, well, Katina, why do I need to get some decodable books? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to tell you because decodable books give children targeted practice with the phonics patterns that they're learning. They need to practice the. And oftentimes parents are told, read to your children, read to your children, read to your children, when in essence, in actuality, children need to be reading themselves, practicing, decoding, blending, comprehension, fluency, right? We want to make sure that they are building accurate automatic word reading, and we want to prevent them from using illustrations and pictures to guess, right? That is not what we want. We want them to actually be reading the words on the page. And that particular kind of success, it boosts their confidence, their motivation, and it really helps children see themselves as readers. And it lays a strong, strong foundation for lifelong reading. So that's why I want you to come by this Saturday on 50. The information is right here on the screen. I'm actually going to make it bigger so you guys can see it. And there it is, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., 5008 Prospect Avenue. You guys all know where that is. There'll be a pictures with Black Santa as well. So I hope that you all get to come out, bring your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, whatever children are in your lives. I want you to come along and pick up some decodable books, see what other small businesses you might be able to support, and enter the holidays not going over budget, but making an impact. All right. So for those of you that may be new to the broadcast, I want to just take a moment to introduce myself to each and every one of you so you know who I am. I think it's really important for you to know who I am, right? Who's talking to you, right? So what I'll say is my work really sits kind of at that intersection of literacy, law, and family empowerment. That's what it is. I've served more than 15 years in K-12 classrooms. I've spent the last decade helping families understand their rights, advocate for their children, navigate systems that weren't designed for their children, their voices. And most importantly, I teach parents how to teach their children to be confident and competent readers. So that's who I am. That is the work I do. Welcome again. I'm so glad that you are with me today for sure. So I always give a disclaimer, you guys. I always let folks know that the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of mine. They're the views and opinions of Katina, right? I'm not giving legal advice. I am giving information and empowerment. I'm giving you language, strategies, and the confidence to be an informed advocate that, in this case, because we're doing this Title I series, that the federal law already says you are. So again, the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are mine and mine alone, and do not represent the views and or opinions of Dreams KC or any of my partners, funders, or clients. I like to say that just so you know that I, Katina, am speaking to you. I do have the knowledge, I do have the background, but I like to give a disclaimer just to ensure that we are all aligned, okay? All right, so that being said, let me pull this back up, and we are going to dive right in to content, but I also want to make sure that you all are clear on what it means when we start talking about education policy, right? So I really want us to ground ourselves and understand that education policy really means everything from funding to assessments to equity, right? All of these things shape our children's daily experience, our grandchildren's daily experience. And as you can see here, policy also determines your rights, your responsibilities, and your access to information. So as we dive into what our content is tonight about the things we're being asked to sign, we have to recognize and realize that we're not just signing paper. That is not it at all. We're not just signing paper. So I want you to kind of get you something to take some notes, screenshot things that are of interest of you. Come back to this broadcast. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. I want you to understand that when you sign something, you're not just signing a paper, you're stepping into a policy relationship. And tonight we're going to make that relationship work for you. You're going to understand it better and better. And most importantly, I think that you all will be, no, I don't think, I know you all will be prepared to act on the information that I share with you tonight. All right. So that being said, let's go. We're going to dive right in, you guys. So what's at stake? That's always the question, right? Like, what is at stake here when we start talking about Title I, right? And actually, you know what? Before I even, I want to just see you. I want you just to see me too, okay? Tonight, we're digging into something that every single parent, I don't care if you're mom, dad, grandparent, guardian, foster mom, foster dad, adopted family, legal guardian, whatever title you hold, if you are on the journey, the academic journey alongside a child in the K-12 system, every single adult faces this, and that's school forms. You all are asked to sign things from simple enrollment forms, or what you think are simple enrollment forms, forms that are tied to Title I, and this is part 7 in our 10-part mini-series, forms that are connected to services, forms that are connected to assessments, forms that are connected to data. I bet some of you don't even realize that when you sign an enrollment form, oftentimes there's something very, very simple, small print that says, hey, we may not necessarily give you a field trip permission slip. As long as we're traveling within a certain distance and we tell you we're going on a particular day, you don't have to sign it. Now, many of us don't know. Or as a part of enrollment, you may be signing a video or a photo release, meaning that your child's image, their likeness, right? Photos can be taken of them, videos can be taken of them in the school, or school district can use them. Now, not every school or school district will have it in the enrollment form. Some of them will have separate forms, but I need you to understand that when you are saying things, it is extremely important that you understand what is there. And here's the truth that parents never actually hear. You should never feel rushed. You should never feel pressured. You should never be confused when you are being asked to sign anything related to your child's education. Let me say that again. You should not feel rushed. You should not feel pressured. You should not be confused when you are asked to sign anything related to your child's education. So tonight, I'm going to give you 3, 1, 2, 3, uno, dos, tres, right? Questions, very simple questions that will help you slow the process down so that you get clarity and you step fully into your role as a partner, which you're entitled to be operating as. We've talked about this the last several weeks under federal law. So if you've ever signed anything and later you were like, wait, what did I just agree to? Tonight is for you. And this is extremely important because as we continue this 10-part series, and this is part 7. So if you've missed part 1 through 6, go back, go to the YouTube channel, go to the Facebook page, go to LinkedIn, and please, please, please get caught up. But every single adult that has a child in a K-12 institution that is receiving Title I funding generally has been asked to sign something as it relates to Title I. But did you know what you were signing? Did you know what you were committing to? Did you know what you were saying you were a witness to or a participant in? If not, again, tonight is for you. All right. So that being said, let's get back in here, y'all. Let's get back in here and let's talk about what's at stake. What is at stake when we start thinking about your signature on documents that a school or school district has presented to you. And again, this is where parents often get tripped up. Like, you look at what's sitting, you need to look at what's sitting under the surface of the forms that schools hand you. Because again, enrollment forms often quietly authorize permissions. It could be for videos, photos, field trips. You don't know unless you read it and or have it explained to you. Is it being given to you in your home language, in terms that are easy for you to understand? You could be signing Title I compacts that actually should include shared responsibilities. Are you clear what the schools or school districts' responsibilities are? Are you clear about what your responsibilities are? You could be signing consent forms that open the door to certain testing or data sharing specifically related to your child or your children. You could be signing plans and evaluations that are tied to interventions or services. That dreaded IEP meeting, that 504 plan. Some school social worker or therapist or psychologist or interventionist may come to you and say, oh, just sign this. We want to get them assessed. Assessed for what? What have you done leading up into this point? Right? I want you to be really, really clear here. So let me just look at you, and I want you to look at me. If you don't understand what you're signing, you cannot give informed consent. And under Title I, your consent must be informed. Most parents think it's just a school form, no big deal. But those forms often lock in decisions that follow your child for years. And that's why the 3 questions that we're going to cover tonight are extremely, extremely important. Okay. So I need you all to understand and know what's at stake. Okay. What is at stake for your child, your children, and the children in the schools or school districts that you care about, that you want the best for, that you're advocating for, that you're showing up for. Okay. So we need to dig into these 3 questions, right? So I want to review real quick. What are your rights under Title I, right? So before we get to the questions, we need to just kind of sit in, drop an anchor, right? So we understand. Remember, you have the right to information. You have the right to participation. And you have the right to clear explanations. I sound like Jesse Jackson tonight. No, I'm not a guy, so I know he has been ill. But you have the right to information. You have the right to participation. You have the right to clear explanations. And you have the right to ask questions without pressure. So tonight's conversation really honors each one of those rights. These questions don't just help you understand forms. They help you stand in your federally protected role as an equal partner. That's what we've been talking about. Go back and look at what we've talked about in our sessions regarding Title I, and this is it. Your rights. Information, participation, clear explanation, and your rights to ask questions without pressure. Right? So I want to ensure that you don't just understand a form. That's important, and I want you to do that as well. But I really want you to stand in your role as an equal partner. That's what I want most for you. Okay? All right. So let's get into it so I don't keep you very long. I say that every week like a pastor would say at church, right? If you all grew up in church, then you know what I'm talking about. So here's the 3 questions, right? These are the foundation for tonight's session. What does this mean? What are my options? Who can help me? Those are really the simple ways to think about these 3 questions. What does this mean when someone is asking you to sign a form, no matter what that form is? What are my options? What if I don't choose to sign? What does that mean? If I do sign, what am I obligating myself to? How does this impact my child or my children or any other children in the district or the building? And then if I'm not clear, who can help me? And not only their name, what is their contact information? What is their role? These three questions are powerful because they shift the conversation from compliance to partnership. And you all know we're collaborators, we're partners. We're working together via the law, the Every Student Succeeds Act, 1116. That's the section we're talking about when we talk about Title I, right? So we're moving from compliance to partnership. These three questions say to the school district, to the individual that you're speaking to, you're engaged, you're informed, and you're not signing anything you don't understand. That's what these three questions say. All right. So let's dig into these, each of these questions a little bit more in depth, right? So we want to first start talking about question number one. What does this mean, right? This is the first question that you should be asking, and it protects you. Y'all hear me? It protects you from accidentally, mistakenly agreeing to something. Many school forms are vague on purpose. They assume you won't question because we haven't questioned in the past. But your signature could mean agreeing to assessments, data sharing, or services that you didn't realize were optional. You all hear me? If you accidentally sign something, mistakenly sign something that you're not quite clear about, again, these things could follow your children. And you could be agreeing to some things that were optional, not mandatory. So here's your script. This is what you're going to say. You're going to say, can you walk me through what this means in plain language? What I normally say is when I don't understand something, I want to be really, really clear. I often will say, talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old. I need you to get down, way down. Simple language, not a lot of professional jargon, not acronyms. No, plain language. Talk to me like a little bitty child. And then you're going to say, what does my signature commit me to doing? What does it commit me to? Right? I think that's really important. You have to understand that this is kind of the script that you have to go by, that you have to look. What does this mean? Can you walk me through what this means in plain language? Talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, however you want to say it. And then what does my signature commit me to? Slow it down, because I guarantee, even if you're the only one in the space at the time that asked the question, someone else in that space is breathing a sigh of relief. They wanted to ask, they just didn't know how to go about it. There's never just one person in a room with a question. Okay, so I want you to really understand that. If the school can't explain it simply, do not sign it. Let me say that again. If the school official, the administrator, the person in terms of Title I, our Title I coordinator, if they can't explain something to you simply, don't sign it. All right? I want you all to be with me, be clear about this. This is extremely important. All right? So let's go ahead and dive into question number 2. What are my options? What are my options, right? This one changes the energy in the room. It really, really does. Parents often feel pressure, whether it's real or imagined, to sign something immediately. But you always have options, right? You can say, I'm going to take this home, read it over, and then I'll return it. You may be able to request revisions, IEP 504, parent compact, parent engagement plan, right? Oh, can we revise this? Can we work back through this? This doesn't really capture what we discussed and what we decided upon. It's okay to do that. You have the option of opting out of certain assessments or data sharing, or anything for that matter. If there's something that goes against your morals, your values, the way in which you're raising your children, how you want them to be represented on social media or in printed publications, on websites, you can opt out of those things. Certain field trips. I don't mind you all sharing data about my child. I just don't want their name mentioned, or only, their first name with their last, the first letter of their last name. So it might be Sarah T versus their whole name, for whatever the reason. And you can schedule a follow-up meeting to get more clarity. That you all may run out of time. You're in a larger group setting. You say, I really want to discuss this, but maybe this isn't the place right now. Let me go ahead and ask for a follow-up meeting so I can get clear before I offer a signature, or before I make a decision, right, to sign or not. And here's the key. Let me be really, really clear about this, you guys. Okay? Under Title I, remember, we've discussed this every week. Involvement must be meaningful, not rushed. Meaningful means you've had time to think about things, to be involved and engaged. You're not being pushed to do something very quickly. You have clarity on what you're being asked to do, your role in the process, and you have choice. You do. Meaningful means time, clarity, and choice. Under Title I, involvement must be meaningful, not rushed. I need you all to be clear about this, to understand this, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and go to question number 3. Remember, you guys can screenshot these things. You can come back and look at this. I'll post some snippets later. You can drop some questions, comments, or concerns in the comment section on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I read them. I will answer any questions that you may have. I will address any concerns. If there's something I need to research, I'm going to go do it for you. All right. So here's question 3. Here is question 3. You guys ready to dive in question 3? This is a good one. Who can help me? Who can help me? Who can help me? Look at this real clear. Right? Who can help? This keeps you from getting a runaround. Whose job is it? I'm sure all of us have had a situation or a circumstance where we've called in to make a complaint, or we've been in person and we want to talk to a supervisor. I have even had a situation, well, not me personally, but someone shared with me, if they asked someone at a bank in customer service who their superior was, and the person said they didn't have one. I said, what? I was just blown away by that. They do have superiors, but if we know ahead of time, if we've already set ourselves up for success, meaning we know who the person is, we have their contact, we know who holds the job, then we're more likely to not get the runaround, okay? So I want to be sure, I want you all to understand this. You want a name, not the office. So you might say, who's the Title I coordinator for the school or school district? Who's the family and community engagement liaison for your school? You want their name, not just their title. In terms of Title I, the person that is responsible for Title I compliance, parent communication, and academic service or academic services. That's who you should be talking to. In this question, again, it tells the schools that you expect accountability, transparency, and you're willing to follow up. Don't just say shoo fly. Let me get no. I'm going to be following up, so I need to know their name. I need to know the title. I need to have their contact information, their phone number, and their email address. And if someone says, oh, go to the website, no, you can give it to me. Because oftentimes our websites have gotten so confused. Things are buried page after page. You got to dig, search all the things. And I will tell you, for some schools and school districts, the higher up you go, the less likely you are to find contact information for the person you need to speak with. I don't know why that is. I don't know why people hide or think their position entitles them in some way for people not to be able to reach out to them, even though we're reaching out to them in their capacity of doing their job. I'm not reaching out for something personal, right? So whoever can get you that information, they need to get it to you in a pretty timely, quickly fashion so that you can move forward. Okay, so I really want you all to understand that. Who can help me? Who can provide clarity, right? So that is really, really extremely important. Get a name, get their position, and get their contact information. Okay, I want you all to be really, really clear about this. Let's move on. All right. So you might say, okay, Katina, now we've asked these questions, then what? Well, you need to have some answers to the questions, right? So this slide, this part of the presentation or the session tonight really just, it tells you practical tools that you can use tomorrow. Like, one of the things I don't want to do is give you hypotheticals or anything like that. No, I need you to have practical things that you can put into practice immediately. So again, you can ask for plain language. You can ask for a summary in writing in your language. You can request the Title I policy and the parent-school compact. We talked about this multiple times, and you can take everything with you. If you need more time, if you need someone to sit next to you and answer questions, or if you need to process this, think on it, make sure you're really clear and understanding. Maybe you have a spouse, a significant other, someone that helps you co-parent. So you want to share it with them before committing you both to something on behalf of your child. You have every right to do that. I want you to be really, really clear. You have every single right to do that. And I also want to point this out to you, okay? Slowing down is not resistance. It's not adversarial. It's not combative. It's responsible parenting. It's responsible partnership. It's responsible collaboration. It is not resistance. And be okay with that. If you need more time, take more time. I say that to parents about children, have for years. I've been in education 25 years, 15 of those in school, in classrooms. 7 of those specifically in first grade. And that's a really important grade to have a conversation sometimes with some children. Do they need more time before we move them forward? Slowing down is not resistance. It's ensuring that people, you in this case, as parents, as guardians, that you have enough time to really understand, get clarity about what you're being asked to sign or agree to. Okay? So I want you all to be really, really clear about that. And don't feel bad about asking for more time. All right? I don't want you to do that. Not at all. So, you know, I think this is very short tonight, and I'm very excited that actually we haven't gone over yet. We're not quite done, but we're moving pretty quickly. So I want you to remember again the 3 questions, right? These are your non-negotiables. You can ask more questions, but I would like for you at least at the very minimum to ask these 3, right? Somebody hands you something, you need to ask, what is this for? And what does my signature on it mean? What are my options? And who can I follow up with? Those are the questions you need to be asking, especially as it relates to anything that has to do with Title I. Okay? And then your next step is pretty simple. You get the answers, right? You're going to ask these questions. And the very next form that your school sends to you, I want you to just test it out. Test it out, okay? You get a form. I mean, it's not something simple like, I don't know, a lunch form or something like that, but maybe it's an IEP, maybe it's a 504 plan, maybe you're going to the annual Title I meeting, maybe you're showing up to a school board meeting. The next time somebody gives you something and asks you to sign it, it could be a sign-in sheet at a meeting. I want you to ask these questions. Slow it down. I know there may be some other parents behind you. They're ready to take their seat and get moving with the meeting and all the things, and that's fine. Patience is the word of the day. You're going to ask, what is this for and what does my signature mean? Sometimes you can just ask, like, who are we sending these sign-in sheets to? What are my options if I choose not to sign? And who can I follow up with? To ensure that what you say matches with what happens, right? It changes the conversation immediately. I want you all to be really, really clear when we begin to ask direct questions as partners and collaborators in the educational journey of our children, especially under Title I. It shifts a power dynamic. Now it's not a big I and a little you. No, we're partners, we're collaborating, we're walking side by side for not just the betterment of my child, which that may be my main priority, but for all children, okay? So I want you all to be really, really clear about that, all right? All right, let's see. What's the next, you guys? Oh my gosh, that's all the content. That is all the content. And I never get done this fast. Hey, yay. I'm so excited. Let me see here. One of the things that I always ask you, I've been asking for the last several weeks, actually for months now, is really simple. I want to invite you. I'm extending the invitation for you to take our book access survey. Your feedback is really important. It drives programs and ensures that children have what matters most at home, books, right? Your voice really does shape solutions. We have a state that has funded book distribution programs. We have other nonprofits that are doing book distribution. One of the things that I consistently say is if books distribution, if books in the home were the answer to the literacy crisis that we face, it would be getting better and not worse, and certainly not just staying the same. But we don't have any data. We need data around what books you have in your home, where do you get them, are they at the appropriate level, are they diverse, all of these things so that we can ensure that we are allocating resources effectively and appropriately for all children. And if there's a discrepancy, meaning say families, I don't know, in Johnson County, for example, say, well, we have tons of books, but maybe children in Wyandotte County say, well, we don't. So then we can start talking about the way in which we're going to have an equity conversation, really. The way in which we distribute books. Are we getting them to the children and families that need them most? Can we think of more innovative or collaborative ways to actually share books and ensure that the books that children are getting, they are actually able to use? Because that's another thing. Giving books out if someone can't lift the text off the page, that's not really helpful. If they're sitting in the house collecting dust because the adults may have some challenges with literacy, who's benefiting? We got to have real conversations. So I say all that to say, I would love to have 600 answers to this survey, and we are not there yet, not at all. So 600 is a representative sample size for the KC area. So let me tell you what I mean by that. If you're in Wyandotte County, Johnson County, you're in Kansas City proper, Lee Summit, Raytown, Grandview, Belton, Raymore, North Kansas City, Independence, Take the survey. We need your voices, right? So we want to make sure it takes about 5 minutes or less. I promise you, I've taken it. I've given it to other people to take. They have verified 5 minutes or less. You can do it from your phone. You can do it from your laptop, your tablet, whatever. If you need it in Spanish, we have it in Spanish as well. Just scan the QR code. You can scan the QR code. It takes you right there. Share it with other folks as well. Share with other folks as well. Please, please, please. And thank you. And again, if you need the Spanish version, there's the Spanish. I do believe in honoring our home languages. I don't want to make this difficult. I know that our community is also made up of Mandarin and French and many other languages because we have a very diverse geographical area. If you want to do this survey and you need it in a different language other than English or Spanish, please reach out. Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Hey, Katina, I wanted to do the survey, but it wasn't in my language. We will get it in your language and sent over to you ASAP. So I don't want to leave anyone out. I think everyone has value and you matter. In this moment in time, you matter. So I want you all to understand and know that for sure. Okay. All right. Let me see. Do I have anything else? I do. I want to remind you all that this Saturday, I said it at the top of the broadcast. I'll say it again here. This Saturday is the KC Gift Holiday Retail Market. That's December 13th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Kansas City, Missouri. If you are in Kansas City, you can stop by anytime between the hours of 11 and 4. Come see me. Come hang out with me. Come visit me. And most importantly, come and grab some decodable books. Help me to go. I need to get rid of all the inventory that I have on hand. But most importantly, give your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, donate some to a classroom or to a school library. Whatever I have tons. I'm not going to say I have tons. I've done really well with these. But I have some on hand. I want to rid myself of them. I want to make sure they get into the hands of children that need decodable books. So grab some. We have a new series of decodable books coming out at the top of the year. If you're interested in being a beta reader, let me know. I want to get your feedback before we go to press. So if you have a pre-K to third grader, this is for you. I'm telling you. Come out, get your decodable books this weekend, and then let me know if you want to be a beta reader for our new series that is coming out. All right. I think that may be it. Yes, we have gotten to the end of our broadcast today. Next week, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Policy Pulse Education Edition continues. It will be part 8 of our 10-part mini-series. What we will be discussing is what happens when schools ignore federal law as it relates to Title I, the real consequences of noncompliance. Y'all hear me say that? Did y'all hear me say that? Let me say it again. You see my face? You see my face? I hope you see my face. What happens when schools ignore federal law? The real consequences of noncompliance. That's the title. That's what we're addressing. That'll be part 8 of our 10-part series. We are coming to the end of this series, but not to the end of the issue. We get to episode 10. Don't think Katina's going to stop talking about Title I, organizing, advocating, working with families. I'm not. I'm just letting you know, right? This one is really, really big. Episode 8, or part 8 of the 10-part mini-series is really, really important. You join me. Bring someone else alongside you that needs to have this information. If you serve on a PTA, a PTO, a SAC, a DAC, any parent group, if you are a Title I compliance person and you're like, let me hear what Katina is sharing with families. If you're a superintendent, if you're general counsel of a school district, I invite you all to be a part of this because it impacts all of us in our work, right? So I want you to make sure that you are there. You don't miss it. Thursday, 6:30 p.m., LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. If you can't be with us live, come back and take a look at it. But I really would love to have you. And if you think you need to be a guest with me, as we talk about Title I welcome you all. Not that we're going to have a sparring match, but I really do want to ensure that experts can tag in and tell me what you believe compliance is, what it's not, what you do to ensure that you're in compliance, if you work for a school or a school district, etc. Right? So that being said, we're going to wrap up this edition of Policy Pulse, the education edition, you guys. I want to, just tell you all as parents why I do this work, why it's so important. One, I'm a parent. I am a grandparent. I've been a surrogate parent to many, many children over the years. And one thing I can say is that we are the first and most important teachers and advocates of our children. We're the most important advocates that they will ever have. And when you ask better questions, you get better answers, and that leads to better outcomes. If we're not asking questions, no one thinks we're engaged, that we're interested. But the moment we start asking questions, the moments we start requiring answers and doing follow-up, things shift. Getting this information is the first step. Using the knowledge and doing something with it is the real power. So I encourage you all, share the broadcast, subscribe and follow on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, so you are consistently engaged and informed. Again, I thank you all so much for being with me tonight and every week. Those of you that tap in or watch the broadcast afterwards, I really do thank you. I appreciate you. I'll see you all next Thursday, same place, same time. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and as always, let's keep pushing for what's best in education. You all have a great night. Bye.
Teachers, get